What's up, guys? All right, so for today's video, what I plan to do is the front suspension, finish all that up. So I already have the power steering rack in. I put some video of that, but I think my card corrupted, so I don't have it. But yeah, power steering rack is in. I still have to finish like the lines for the power steering pump and everything. The pump I have, the fitting, one of the fittings was missing. I couldn't find it, so I just got a new pump, and it wasn't much more than what I could find the fitting for online. So I still have to put the new power steering pump in and then run the lines for the Hydro Boost system. But the rack's in, so I can finish like the lower control arms, the springs, and then the shocks and stuff like that. So that's my plan for today. So if you look here, I haven't finished the control pack wiring just yet, but I wanted to know where I was gonna mount like the fuse box and stuff. And I really need to know like where I have the space. So best way to see how much space I'm gonna have under here is start putting things up. And as I put stuff together, I'll be able to see what's tight, what's not. And then if need be, I can take things out or whatever I need to do. But all in all, I think I'm gonna have enough space to do what I'm trying to do here, which is good. So next step, I'm gonna get these lower control arms as well as the spring and put all that in. I do have a bump steer kit for this, but first I need to put the spindle, I need to get this attached to the spindle just so I can hold it in place to loosen this nut here so I can take these off. And also I want to get kind of some measurements when it's perpendicular to the control arm. So before I take these off, I want to get all that ready. So I'm going to actually put these on. I'm gonna put the lower control arm and spindles on with this on, but I'm definitely gonna have to at least drop the power steering rack to swap this bump steer kit in. So I'm not sure if all that'll land in one video, 2 videos, or what, but stay tuned. Once I have my spindles and stuff in, then I can put my new brakes on. Depending on how this shook out, you may have seen the new brakes, or if not, then stay tuned to see what I do for the braking system. It's gonna be real good. But yeah, so here we are, we're gonna get started and we're gonna try to knock out this front suspension. All right, guys, so as a part of suspension, I did want to pull these sway bar links out of here, but I just decided they were kind of seized up, and so I was like, well, I wonder how much these things cost online. And I looked, and AutoZone had them for pretty cheap. To get these from AutoZone, so we're gonna test these out and see what they fit like and see how they go on. And if they go on well, then that's what we'll use to replace these. And I can toss those old control arms out of the way since they're all rusted and seized up anyways. All right, so as you may know now, by now, I have the AJE K-member, and I also obviously bought the matching control arms. And so with that, this is my right-hand side control arm. It basically comes with a new bolt here, a new cotter pin to go through the bolt, and a little, it's like a bleeder screw for the, or grease fitting for the grease right here. But these are pre-greased, so I shouldn't have to grease it, but I'll double check that. But anyways, this is the lower control arm, front lower control arm, or I should say front control arm, not lower control arm. And so essentially this will go right into my K-member here, and I have the bolts and everything for that. But before we do that, we want to try and put these sway bar links in to see if these work, if these fit. If they fit, honestly, I'm not even sure if I'll be able to run the sway bar. If I can't find a different oil cooler solution, I may have to go without it. But I've heard the handling is sometimes crap without it. So if that's the case, then I'll have to run something different. Sorry, I was just looking at these instructions. But so if that's the case, I'll have to run something different for an oil cooler, maybe a remote oil cooler or something like that. But right now I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I heard that the sway bar causes clearance issues. I figured the best way to see that is to put it on there and see what things look like. Anyways, so this is what the sway bar link comes with. Like obviously you'd need 2 if you're replacing your front suspension. And if you look on this control arm, there's a hole that this guy goes into. So basically, this is the bottom half. And if we start to take this apart, can already kind of see how this goes on. So the existing ones, they have like a bolt on top and then kind of two of these same type bushings, and basically you put the sway bar in between it and tighten the bolt down, and it kind of sandwiches the sway bar eyelet between these two bushings. This one looks different, so I don't see that bolt on top, of course, but judging by the way this looks, this part will go between the control arm itself, so the control arm would be like in this middle spot here. Then this, obviously this sandwiches the control arm into place. This sleeve is just a sleeve, we're not going to use it for anything, but it'll hold, I think it should hold this in place once we pass it through the bottom of the control arm. And then I guess, so what our sway bar will have to do, that eyelet will have to pass over this opening here, and then we'll pass this guy through it, kind of like so. And this is actually threaded, so then threading it down will be the same effect that that bolt had prior, or I should say nut, that the nut had prior. So that should be how this goes together. We'll try and see what happens. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy, we're gonna feed him right through the bottom here, and for now just hold on to it. We'll put this bushing down this way at the top, and so this will go on just like so. And I don't know if you can see well, but basically what we want to do is make sure the bushing goes over this sleeve right here. So we'll drop that on and push that into place. This is just a top plate that helps hold it into place. Next up should be our sleeve for the threaded bolt, and that should go on like so. So here what we would do is we'd put this washer here on, and then this bushing, this time the opposite direction, with this kind of lip here facing upward. You can see that. And this would be where the sway bar would come and sit here. Since I'm not putting the sway bar on yet, I'm just going to tighten it down. And so basically we take this piece here, and this has threads on it, and it actually threads on. So we'll slide it through the bushing just like we did on the bottom side, and then start to twist. I can already feel it kind of tightening up. I can actually feel it turning the bottom set as well. So that's tight enough for what I'm doing, because like I said, I don't have the sway bar here yet, but I think this will work great. So I'm gonna do this for the other one, but then basically what we're looking at here, finished product, is we have a new clean sway bar link. Our sway bar will go right in between here once it's in position, and this should sit right on the car. So next I'm gonna get this hanging, this control arm on here and hanging down. I'm not gonna put the spring and everything in place because like I said, I need to get all the stuff in my shocks. So when I get the shock stuff, I put the spring and the caster camber plates in, and the spindles and all that. So alright, so our next step is now to mount this control arm, and obviously everything I do on this side we can repeat for the other side. And so these guys will go in pretty much just like this, and I'm going to use the original bolts that came off because they were honestly in good shape, and I'm just going to pass them through. Like I said, I'm not doing the springs yet, but I do have them. It's the same set that I bought for the rear, just for the front. And this is also pre-greased, so I shouldn't need to grease this from the looks of it. right, not sure how well you can see, but basically I just have this kind of hanging freely. These guys are hand tight, so they're not all the way in. But what I'll do, once I'm ready, I'll tighten them up. Of course, my spring will be sitting between these. So my spring will be sitting kind of between the base and then the top here, top plate. Part of the reason why I wanted to do this before I finish the control pack wiring is I just wanted to make sure like everything was gonna clear right. I'm not sure, but I may be putting my fuse box up in here somewhere. Excuse me. And so I wanted to make sure everything cleared well. So that's part of the reason why I did that. And so we'll see how everything goes.